Hey there guys, welcome to Benze Cafe or Benze Cafe here in the heart of Kosice in Hlavna Street. Is Hlavna Street, right?
Hlavna, yeah.
Hlavna Street, there you go. Anybody who's familiar with the local area will know that this is basically the old town where everybody comes for the historical sights and sounds of Slovakia in the second city here in Kosice. So I'm here joined with a good friend El today, and we're going to do a quick little discussion about why he's here and what he's up to. So this is going to be quite a fun one. Stay tuned, let's get to it. El, if you'd like to introduce yourself for the viewers today, and we'll start getting through this and understand a bit more about you as a person.
For sure. Hi guys, my name is El, also known as El Noam. I'm from the UK. Ethnicity wise, I'm Nigerian. I grew up in the UK pretty much most of my life, but moved to Canada at the age of 16. And then I later on decided to continue my studies, my university studies in Ukraine. And now I'm here in Slovakia, and I'm in my 5th year doing medicine. So it's been nice so far. It's been
so
very
far.
good.
That's great, it's good to know. The thing is, obviously, as you can see, I'm quite wrapped up at the moment. It's quite cold. We're in an outdoor part of a cafe that actually El's introduced me to today. So I would recommend it to anybody who's looking for a nice little getaway. They give you blankets. It is quite warm, I'd say, but it's colder outside for sure. The blankets are good, so it's a good little touch. So obviously you've introduced yourself, so obviously thank you for that. And obviously that helps everybody understand a bit more about you in a nutshell. In regards to your growing up, so you said you grew up mainly in the UK,
Yes.
right? So what was that like? Any sort of stories as to how you've ended up wanting to pursue medicine as a career? Any experiences that you might have happened that you want to talk about? And more so, what was the transition from the UK? A lot of the questions that we usually get: why did you go abroad to study? So give us a bit of a breakdown as to the historical side of El Nam and what you're about.
Fair enough. So as I said, I grew up in the UK. But I'm also Nigerian, right? So in the African community, it's either you're a doctor, a lawyer, or maybe an engineer, right? But actually, it was introduced to me by my father. And he actually, one day when I was 10, he gave me a book written by Ben Carson. It was like a biography.
Right.
And he's a neurosurgeon in America. And ever since then, I just loved being like a doctor, medicine. I loved neurosurgery. So it just spiked an interest in me, right? And so ever since then, ever since the age of 10, I've just wanted to do something medicine-wise, right? So when I was in primary school, when I was in secondary school, I put a lot of my focus on the sciences like biology, chemistry, physics, even though I still hate chemistry with a passion.
Don't we all?
I swear. But, it's something that it really interested me to do. So I knew I had to do it. I couldn't see myself doing anything else, to be honest.
Perfect. Okay, so that's super interesting. I mean, a lot of people would say that they might have family members that are doctors or something along those lines. So it's great to hear that obviously you've read a book about it. It's inspired you to take the journey that you have going forward. I also, decades ago, tried the whole biology, chemistry route, didn't do too well with the A-levels. How did you find it?
Oh, I didn't do A-levels, actually.
Oh, okay, great.
I left, you said great.
Yes, it's nice for people to know there's a different route out there, so let's hear it.
Yeah, so I took my GCSEs, right? And then from 16, my family moved to Canada, right? So I did GCSEs, then I finished my last 2 years of high school in Canada, right? And they don't do A-levels. You just do like your final exams, and then those are your grades, right? So that's what I used to get into university.
Okay.
And but as I said, I really put a lot of focus into biology, chemistry, and physics, the sciences, even mathematics, because I knew that was what was going to get me into like medical schools. Right.
Okay.
And the thing is that before I even went to medical school, I was actually accepted into University of Toronto for economics.
Okay.
Right? Because in Canada, you can't go straight into medicine.
Really?
In America, you can't go straight to medicine.
Oh, so what's the process there?
The process is that you need to do 4 years in the university and get your bachelor's degree.
In anything?
In anything.
Right.
And then you can go into medical school. You have to apply. So, but I was there for maybe a month, and I was just thinking to myself, I can't do 4 years of economics. I've like dedicated myself for the past 8 years or so to like medicine, and then I'm now going into economics. I know it was only for 4 years, and then I'll do medicine again, but I didn't want to lose that drive.
Of course,
after
4 years is a long
right?
time. Yeah,
Exactly. Like I'm only in my 5th year now, right? 4 years had just passed.
exactly.
So yeah, I wanted to go straight into medicine, so I decided not to pursue university in America or Canada, and decided to go straight into medical school in Europe because that's where it's available to go straight.
Ah, I see. Okay, right. So why Ukraine? That's the first question, because for those of you that know or don't know, I also took that step into Ukraine.
Yeah.
My story in a nutshell was basically didn't know any better, and it was like the first option that was kind of marketed out there quite well, especially to people that were from the UK.
Yeah.
For us, it was like the one thing that flashed out, like Ukraine. It was cheap, it was easy, everyone was talking about it. What's your story? Why did you end up there?
So my story is not too different actually, but it's because I already had family members studying in Ukraine. I had cousins. So I had like 2 cousins who were studying in Ukraine. So it just seemed like an easy process to get there, right? So we would have probably looked at the UK and other stuff, but obviously it was cheaper in Ukraine, right? And I already had family who already knew the area. So it was just easier for me to go straight to Ukraine.
And which area were you in? Which university?
Kiev. I was in Bogomolets.
Bogomolets, okay.
Yeah.
So that's an actual university, guys, for anybody who's wondering. That's an actual university, that's quite good.
Yeah.
And then did you leave because of the war, or did you just have plans to leave?
I left because of the war. I left because of the war, and I tried to get my transcript and everything. It was a bit of a hassle trying to get the transcript, as everyone who went to Ukraine knows, but it was worth it because I got it after a few months of hustling to get it.
Right.
And then I was able to then transfer afterwards. But it was good in the moments. The first 3 years of Ukraine was beautiful. I liked it.
The mention there of the word hustling, I think a lot of students coming to study abroad need to understand that concept. I'm not going to sit here and talk about myself about it. I want to know more about your struggles, your trials, your tribulations in it. But for anybody thinking about studying abroad, be it in Europe or anywhere across the world, what would be your advice to them when it comes to not having that naive mindset? There's just going to be, I can trust my agent to do everything for me. Everything's going to work out. What is the harsh reality of it? How is it actually come about? What happens in a day-to-day, and what would your experiences show to people?
So my advice, starting off, would be do your research. Do your own research, because if you don't do your research, you'll just believe anything that anybody tells you.
Of course, yeah.
Right? So make sure you do your research at least 11 times.
Right.
That's
11.
what you 11 times, right? And make sure you know your stuff.
Yeah.
And then the second piece of advice right under that is don't beat yourself up for being naive.
Sure.
Don't beat yourself up. Especially when you did your best.
Yeah. We've all been there.
We've all been there, because getting out of naivety is through experience.
Of course, yeah.
Right? And I was naive when I went there. I was 18. The only advantage I had was that I went to boarding school when I was in secondary school. So I knew how to live outside of my parents' house. But a lot of people, they just came out of their parents' house from 18 and then entered university. So it's a big jump.
Of course, yeah. That's great advice that you've given to anybody. Definitely 11 times, again, the key number to check. Did you yourself actually fly out to Ukraine before joining the university, or did you do what I did and just trust the words of advice from all the fake people out there and just go myself?
No, I just went straight there. As I said, I had family there, right?
Oh, yours is a bit different.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I had a lot of foundation before going in, right? And I had people to take care of me and stuff. And people don't get that privilege, which I understand.
So for those people, you'd say, go out there first.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what some people even did for Slovakia, right? I know someone who flew here, right, to check the university, talk to the teachers and stuff, and then went back and made a decision, right? Because they were stuck on 2 schools, but they actually took the time. But I know some people don't have maybe the funds to start flying out and everything like that. But that's why we have stuff like this, to be able to give you more information about what's happening around. Yeah, for sure.
Great plug there, guys. See, so we're doing this for you. We're doing this for you. Yeah. All right, cool. So I would, obviously most of my viewers would know that I have pursued dentistry one, obviously the career is great, but mainly the finances are amazing. So I wouldn't say that I'm the most humanitarian healthcare worker out there in training. But obviously for people that want to do medicine, I would say they are more driven. I'm not, blanket statement for all dentists here. You guys aren't bad, but most medics out there want to do it to save lives, for the betterment of society, all the rest of it, right? Was there no temptation there from the likes of a dental career that made you think, ooh, should I do dentistry? Or was it always like, I need to do medicine? Or did you ever have that, that questioning yourself of what career should I do? Maybe medicine isn't right for me. Like, how did you end up doing it?
Yeah, never. I never had to second guess myself. Like,
Right.
I always knew that medicine was what I wanted to do because I enjoyed it, right?
Right.
I wasn't too swayed about maybe one job having more financial freedom or another more time management or something like that. I just knew that medicine was what I wanted to do because I prefer to do what I enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Or what interests me. As I said before, I was accepted into U of T for economics. But I knew, even though economics is good, depending where you go with it,
Yep.
I knew I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
I
for
couldn't,
sure.
I didn't want to waste my time, waste my lecturer's time, waste my money on it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I know I'm just going to go into medicine eventually. I might as well start now.
Perfect.
So I never really second guessed myself.
Brilliant. And then obviously you said you're in the 5th year now.
Yes.
So in Ukraine, did you do 4 years, 5 years? Like how?
3 years. I did 3 years.
Okay.
And which was good for transferring because people usually get bumped down.
Yep.
But since I was in the 3rd year, I went straight into 4th year.
Right.
So I did 3 years in Ukraine.
And then a year,
A
4th year
year
here, and then now you're in
I'm
the
in
5th year.
5th year.
And this is, for medicine, it's a 6-year course here as well,
It's
right?
a 6-year course here
Okay.
as well.
And then for people that want to know a bit more about the university, it's quite well recognised around Europe, I've heard, the medical degree here. So for people maybe from the UK, would they be able to take this degree and go back? Would they have to sit exams? How does it work? Do you know?
So from what I've heard and things that people have told me and a bit of research, I heard that even with the degree, you can skip Foundation 1 and
Uh-huh.
go into Foundation 2.
Ah.
I did hear that you need to do some sort of registration.
Right,
I haven't
okay.
looked too deep into it because me personally, I don't want to go to the UK
Right.
because of family and stuff. I
Yeah.
have family in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But I did hear that you can skip Foundation 1 and go straight into Foundation 2.
Oh.
However, some people prefer to still do Foundation 1
Just
so
to get that training, yeah.
to get the training.
Thanks for tuning in. If you're interested in being on the next interview, get in touch today. See you in part 2 of this awesome meetup, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share. It really does help the channel. See you soon.